Now, one of the areas that I've identified as needing a bit of an injection of colour is the area underneath this beautiful Acer. I mean, it's got beautiful architectural merit in its own right, but actually the only thing that's going on underneath it is the developing foliage of some bluebells. There's been a real whoosh of lovely crocus under here, but really this is quite a focal point in the garden. And so I thought the injection of some colour would go down really well. We've used some polyanthus. This one's called Calypso, lovely red colour, but then that beautiful yellow eye. And the red coloration really sort of pays lip service to the Acer, because the Acer goes a beautiful red colour in the autumn, and so the red flowers underneath work really well in this context. But the good thing about the colour of this polyanthus is that the central golden eye really sings out and looks really cheerful. The other good thing about polyanthus is that they are sort of like a temporary plant. You can plant them for one season in the autumn, or you can plant them as an instant pop of colour if you think you need it, even in the spring, for that instantaneous effect. And they'll go on for a few years, 3-4 years perhaps, gradually declining a bit, but you can replace them every season or two just to really keep punching up that colour. So it's a really useful type of plant, spring bedding plants, to plant underneath shrubs to get more colour in your garden. So I'm going to get on and get these planted. Now, filling your garden with lots of spring bulbs and underplanting shrubs with colour like we've done earlier is one thing, but actually you could also think about design principles, basic garden design principles, when you're adding colour to your spring garden. None more so than in this case, where we've got quite a long elongated border, and the key here is that I've put down 5 yellow wallflowers. So this is a perennial wallflower. It's called Erysimum Spring Breeze, and it's a really good colour, really eye-catching yellow colour. But I've put these 5 down more or less at equal distances along the edge of this wall here to create a sense of rhythm in the garden. And this is a design principle that you can use throughout your garden with smaller plants particularly, to create a rhythm along a border or the edge of a lawn or the top of a wall in this case, so that it draws your eye along the view. And here we start here, and then your eye is mystically taken all the way along through this line here. It's also good when it's viewed from a different angle, so you'll see the plants evenly spaced and your eye will go from one to the other because your eye lodges onto something that's common and follows that common link all the way through. So I'm introducing this colour here. These perennial wallflowers will come back year after year for a short period of time, probably about 4 to 5 years before they burn out. But in the meantime, they'll be doing a really good job of adding some really citrus, zingy colour to our spring garden. So planting instant colour with plants in the spring is a really good way to discover where the gaps are in your borders and put that instant colour straight in place. All the plants will go in at this time of year in the spring and will establish really quickly, so there's no problem there, and you can plant them in flower. But planting in flower also gives you the opportunity to think carefully about flower colour. Both these hellebores are really stunning in their own right. This dark one follows the recent trend for darker and darker slate coloured hellebores that's so fashionable at the moment, but this really cheery pink form is equally lovely. But when you look at them close up, they may be beautiful. Put them at a distance from where you're going to view them most of the time, and you'll find that this dark one will recede against a dark background, whereas the brighter pink one with this greeny flush to its petals will show up much more. So think carefully about the plants and how much value they're going to give you, not just close up, but when you're viewing them from a distance, say from indoors when you can't get out and you're looking out of the window at all the plants that you've got in the garden for spring. Think about it carefully.